came down from the mountain before the sun did, before the birds woke, before the village knew there was anything to wake for. Before we go further, I need you to stay until the last story. The final one today, I still pause before I read it. You'll understand why. Let's begin. The Pokédex calls it the disaster Pokémon. What that means and what it actually costs are two completely different things. It had done this before, many times. The village knew its shape by now. That was the problem. The first stone came from the left, then the shouting. It did not bare its teeth, it did not strike back, it never did. It turned back toward the mountain. Not because it gave up, because the math was already done, and it always came out the same. The river gave way an hour later, exactly where Absol had been running from. Nobody sent a word up to the ridge. Nobody came. It watched until the water settled. Then it turned around. Here is what the story never says. It will come down again. Next time, knowing exactly how it goes. Coming anyway. Some creatures carry their purpose like a gift. If that reached you, subscribe to Teardrop Tales. Deep in the forest, past the point where the trail markers stop, there is a sound. Small, high, the same call, again and again. It has been making it for a very long time. Looking for something specific, something it can almost remember, a direction it has not yet given up on. The Pokédex says it plainly, spirits of children who died in the forest, they want to go back to their homes. Present tense, active perpetually, not once, always. If the Poké holds the sound for a moment, it just knows it's supposed to be somewhere else. Lower, older, a different kind of searching entirely. Mightyena doesn't call into emptiness the way Phantom does. It howls with the precision of something that knows exactly what it is asking for. The Pokédex, Mightyena live and hunt in packs, pack animals, built to operate in concert with others, to know the smell of companions, to exist within something that pauses, still waits. 3 seasons. The howl goes out. The valley holds it for a moment. Nothing answers. It tips its muzzle back down and walks on. You could call it a loop. Faithfulness. Of all the stories in today's video, this is the one I've returned to most. There is a river, cold, clear, very fast, and if you sit there long enough, quietly, you might see something. A shape in the shallow water, moving with the current, not against it. Almost part of it. Almost. But not quite. That is Vaporeon. Or rather, that is what Vaporeon has decided to be. The Pokédex says its composition is similar to water. It can melt invisibly into water. Melt. That is a description of an animal that has learned to stop existing. Not metaphorically, not as a tactic, as a default. This is what the body does when invisibility was once the difference between surviving the day and not. It stayed in the river, day after season. The water received it without condition, did not require it to be solid, visible, present in the ways the above-water world requires. It spent so long learning how to disappear that when someone finally sat on the bank and stayed, it didn't know how to become solid again. Just breathe for a second. If this one is landing somewhere real, drop a drop in the comments. I read every single one. And if Teardrop Tales isn't part of your week yet, this is the moment. Subscribe. I'll be here. Not calling out, not reaching in, not trying to see what was there, just present. Day after day, a specific kind of presence that asked nothing. Someone sat down on the northern bank, not fishing, not looking for anything, just sitting, as though the river were reason enough. They sat for an hour, came back the next day. On the 6th day, something in the shallow water held its shape a moment longer than water does. It was trying. The next story, I almost didn't include it, but you need to hear it. There is a crossroads 3 miles outside a mountain town, a stone marker where the eastern road forks left. You could walk past it 100 times and not think twice, but if you walked it now, there would be something at the stone marker. Something that would make you slow down, and then stop, and then not know what to say. Arcanine has been standing at that crossroads for 11 months. Not near it, not somewhere around it, at the specific stone, at the point on the road where one word was spoken.
The Pokédex, Lothian Chini, worship of power. The reason wasn't its speed. It was this. It does not leave.
The trainer stopped at this stone 11 months ago, said one word, the word that means, trust me, I'll be back. This isn't goodbye. The word was, stay. The trainer was taken to the clinic that day. They did not come back. Not on foot, not down the eastern road, not the way Arcanine's body was built to recognize. No one said come. No one came down the road and called its name and gave it permission to stop. So the instruction stands. 11 months. The word is still active. The thing that made it legendary, that earned it a shrine, is the same thing that has it standing in the rain. Still, faithful, to a word that no one has rescinded. Tell me, which story has hit you hardest so far? Drop the name in the comments, I want to know, because what's coming in the final chapter might completely change your answer, but you needed to hear it. The trainer stopped at this stone 11 months ago, said one word, the word that means, trust me, I'll be back, this isn't goodbye. The word was, stay. Once every 1,000 years, the world gets 7 days. The comet arrives in silence, and something ancient opens its eyes, for the first time in a millennium.
That is Jirachi, mythical, ancient beyond any scale you can hold comfortably. It wakes to the same world it left, just further along than before.
The Pokédex, Jirachi will grant any wish written on notes attached to its head when it awakens. 7 days, every 1,000 years, grant wishes, return to sleep. Consider what that means. Across millennia, how many cycles, how many 1,000-year windows, how many hands, in how many centuries, reaching toward it with folded paper.
Every note a request, every piece of paper bearing a name and a longing directed at Jirachi, not toward it. The mechanism, the address, not the correspondent.
In all of that time, in all of those hands, in all of those wishes, not one person ever asked, what does Jirachi want? Not once, not in 1,000 years, not in all of them. We arrive with our lists and our longings, and we never once turn the question around. 7 days, the wishes are fulfilled, the comet's light fades, and Jirachi returns to the only sleep available to something that no one thinks of when they have something to give.
I think about what it would mean for just one person to sit beside it and bring no note. To say, I've thought about you. What would you wish for?
In 1,000 years, when it wakes again, I hope someone finally brings a blank piece of paper. In 1,000 years, when Jirachi wakes again, the next story is already waiting, and it is heavier than anything we covered today. Take care of yourself.